to War, but I'm not working in Rochester anymore, so I hardly ever,
Oh,
you know.
okay, so now you go, ooh,
yeah, so.
okay. Yeah, well, good. Hi, Danny.
Hi there, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
It's the best way to fix Tony, right, like this. Tony, any questions for tonight?
Nope, everything's good.
Got your bags all packed from Kentucky?
What's he doing wrong?
Hi, Steve.
If you download your packet, I updated the packet as 440-ish. Okay. So if you just go to the website and look at it, it's the most updated one. If you just go to the website, it's updated.
But I had notes on the old one.
Oh,
Notes on the old.
okay, it's only a few documents, don't worry about it. What's it, agreement to sign? Okay. You just print them, right? Well, it's not.
Why am I here?
What's that?
Why am I
Yeah,
here?
right.
Hey, fair. I wanted to see that. Yeah, that's exactly.
I'll just hang on to the original and do something, we'll record it when we record the deed.
Yeah, I
And
told,
I'll get you guys a copy.
I talked to him today. So, you know, if like I wanted to close on like the 27th or something. If it's earlier, we'll be fine. If we set the 23rd. Oh.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
I told him my text, he's not going to do tonight. So I told him my text, once we figure out. So that.
And you have our agenda and whatnot online.
I usually don't look it up.
Because there's a couple, there was an updated thing. I just came out.
Okay.
Steve, here's really the only thing.
Okay,
I do have
this was the updated thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I already have this.
Oh.
It was sitting here when I sat down.
For some reason, I left last year's levy roll on there, so it was like $30,000 higher than it was supposed to be. So hence why I had to get it printed off. And we had 2 levies come off the books this last year.
So, that was interesting.
That's good for next year, when we want to do projects.
Hey.
Steve, Ringo, how's it going? Very good.
Yeah, Dean.
Thank you.
This is the updated
Just the motion for the,
motion
of
because
the resolution.
Okay,
the other one was last year's.
okay.
Yep, it's already that, yep.
Well, he came back. It was on there when I left my office. What was that? My Adobe file. Oh. Then I get here and it's gone, but I found it. Which is quite an accomplishment these days.
And then now, just so you guys, yeah, an update happened. I already,
Oh.
I updated this afternoon. Now what's happening?
I like the placement of the TV.
It's gonna be.
Are these all in addition to what we got or changes?
Those are additions.
Much football.
We'll have to go on the inside here.
Right. I didn't get
I
that
thought I
until
saw that
Monday.
on here.
Yes, and if you looked at 440, if you updated from this afternoon, yes, it would have got up there.
Oh, okay. Yep.
'Cause I'm
I just did
updating.
Yep.
I'm updating the packet now in the afternoon when I get everything done. That
Okay.
way, if you want to do that, you have it available.
Because I got this, so. I just did it at my office. Then I got up here and it was gone.
So it could make it handouts, I'm trying to get the handouts on your iPad for the meeting so you can at least look at them without printing so much paper up.
Actually, that first was pretty bad. Car ended up in a tree. Yeah. In the liquor store, yeah. Actually, we were good friends where she has the truck shop down there in Preston. Actually, Kate was right. She had a friend that lives on the other side of town there. I said, yeah, I don't know if somebody was flying through town or somebody turned, but maybe laws of life and she didn't know that she said she had heard that he was the John's wife. Took those rigs up there.
I just don't like all the.
The fire truck, but
Watching.
No, legit. It is
Channel
just-
6.
nothing.
But maybe they didn't.
Yeah. How'd you know?
TV?
No, just nice.
Just being nice.
Just being nice. I told you.
Maybe TV?
For him, I do. I go over and just,
You can't do anything with this one.
this one's done.
Every
Yep. I tried everything I could think of and that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I thought. I assumed, but I said, hey, and I wasn't immediately smart with it. Do we know if Tony's coming?
Tony's here.
He's here.
Oh, here's, good. You're on time. Can you hear me, Tony?
Greg, do we have to vote by roll call if he's on phone?
Either that or just have a clear indication
Okay.
that you heard
If
them.
we can hear him.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Tony?
Yes, I can.
Apparently the mic doesn't make a difference for that, does it?
No.
Okay.
I can only do so much. I can't plug him into the phone too.
Can you move the phone over like in front of Eileen? Or maybe? Where's the speaker
I think
at?
the phone needs to go in its spot.
I don't use that any issue here.
Okay.
That's about as far as we can go with the phone.
Okay. I'm just wondering if the microphone is in the front of it. There you go.
Almost missed my chair. That was embarrassing.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Have a roll call. Anybody here for public forum?
That's, yeah, that's-
You are, okay?
Come on up, sit down.
Yes, you can come to the front table.
Talk to this microphone.
Please.
Are you waiting for your fearless leader or not?
I was just hoping
Okay,
She'd do it, not me.
yeah,
I'm Sandy Telfsrud. I live at 15 3rd Avenue Southwest. And there is, Center Street runs possibly someday, maybe, will go between my house and Lynette Fisher's house. She
Okay.
lives at 15 3rd Avenue Northwest. And we were just wondering if there's a way that we can have that property vacated. We talked to Mike Sexton, and he has the property behind it, has no intentions of ever letting it be built back there. He doesn't want his family to do it. If they do anything with it, they plan on keeping it all agricultural. And we were just wondering if it's something that's possible, and if it is, what do we do to try to get the ball rolling? And we were told that this is where we have to start.
good. Anybody have any thoughts or comments on that? I guess we would have to look at any utilities in there now?
Currently, no utilities, I believe. Brett, you don't think, I don't think there's anything in right now, do you?
I think there's a light pole in the back.
I think we can put it on the agenda for next month.
Does that need to go through planning and zoning first?
Okay,
I'll check to see if that's the way it's done in the past, and go from there, to see if that's something that, would warrant to go through council motion after that. See what the recommendation from planning and zoning would be.
okay. It would, I guess it would definitely have to go through council too, but.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, they only make recommendations and council will vote on it.
Okay.
So the next month I can get the planning and zoning meeting together to see if that's something they want to do.
It'd probably be good to have, do you have something in writing from,
I can
Sexton?
definitely get it. I didn't know what was required, so I didn't
Okay.
do it. I talked to some of the neighbors, and they're kind of extremely happy that Mike bought it with no intentions of there being buildings, houses and stuff back there. But yeah, I can definitely get something from Mike, and I can get something from, the neighbors saying yay or nay or whatever you need. I don't know what's required. And I figured this is a good starting spot.
I think a thing from the neighbors would be nice.
So, yeah, there's at least two methods in which the city can vacate alleys or streets. One is on the council's own initiative. At any time, if you decide you don't need something, you can move the ball forward. And so you can take this as a hint that maybe you should explore it, or alternatively, property owners can petition. I know they can formally request. And I don't know offhand if it takes a certain number or if just one is enough or what the case may be, but it's nothing too complicated. I've helped people do that in other towns. And so if the city wanted, we could get a simple one-page form for them to submit for a formal petition if that was intended.
okay?
Cool.
Just so you guys
know, Tony's having a hard time hearing.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Tony, did you gather that they're looking at vacating the alley north of Sandy.
Potential street.
Potential street there.
Yep. And they have all the neighbors.
I wasn't gonna throw up on the screen where it was, but we're running into issues again.
So I'm thinking if, you two property owners and the one behind, it's really the only people it concerns unless the city had some
Okay.
visions of a development back there, which we don't. So,
Okay.
yeah, I would think you would attend a zoning committee and go through that.
Sure. And then you'll notify me when that is. And then you said that there's a form that I can get, or do you want me just to talk to, to do it?
Yeah, it depends on whether the city really cares, whether
Yep.
there's a formal petition or whether you just want to explore the topic on your own merit.
Right, if we didn't want it, then you probably have to do a petition, but
Mhm.
I don't think we have any issue with it, so.
Okay,
you could just go to planning and zoning.
For the recommendation. Yep.
okay.
So that's nothing that's scheduled at the moment. You'd need to.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
check in
get
with
that,
Deb.
we'll get that figured out before next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, and then if you just let me know when it is, that would be super.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I guess I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then we have the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve this consent agenda.
A second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I do want to make two comments. There was two things that were not in there. Just, I put a little recommendation to join Smith in there. And then another thing that did not make it either into the packet. It's on the agenda. The broadband grant. I'm looking, the motion's written down to allow Finley Engineering to do the environmental review. And then we'd contact CCG to write the RFP for the broadband grant. So those are just the two actions that I'm looking to do. We're looking to get that grant rolling so we can get the RFP out there so someone can bid it and get that project moving next year.
All right. And then with Smith, I know it's not really quite a membership, but I think several years back, we contributed $1,000.
Yeah, they have a recommended amount that you suggest. So I'd be looking to do the recommended amount for both this year and next year because they'll be asking for next year donations come November.
So we didn't do 2021, and then you're looking for 2022 also.
Yep.
And how much was there suggested
I'll double check. I think it was 15.
per year?
Yeah.
And I know that's totally up to us. That's kind of a suggested sticker price. They'll accept us if we do more or less.
I'll double check with that, but I think it was 15.
So,
Well, let's put a dollar amount on there and then that's what.
well, I'm wondering, should we have separate motions for them because you're approving the consent agenda?
If we can pull it all the consent agenda, that'd be fine too.
Okay.
Are we under the new police contract for the car and stuff yet?
Yes.
That would be yes.
Then do we pay the gas for that yet?
Up until we got the new one
Which was
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, end of August, beginning of September is when that transition took place.
So that,
So that should be the last fuel
so
bill.
gas for the squad car, that was probably before that.
Yeah, he did.
The other, I think he turned in the gas card that the city had back to the city, correct?
Yes, he did.
So,
So as you can see in the police contract that the car, is built into the price now.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was all.
Yep.
We just pay them that amount and
Yep.
they take care of everything else.
Yep.
absolutely.
I'm having some issues here.
Yeah. Just wants a call on a cell phone.
Okay.
Do you want to call him, Tuesday?
I can call.
Hello,
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Cool.
Let me see if you can hear in the middle of the table.
That'll probably work better than
At least you can hear the mayor then.
you. I think I'm close enough. Can you hear me all right this way? Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
good. All right, so we're on the consent agenda and this Smith membership, we're going to pull that out of the consent agenda because we have to identify a dollar amount for it.
Okay.
And were you saying you wanted separate motions for did you want to pull the broadband?
No.
Things out?
No.
No, they'll be approved within the consent agenda.
As long as you guys are okay with those.
Yes, and the CCG engineering is,
The firm that Finley recommended to us, because Finley cannot write the RFP as they will be
okay,
responding to the grant.
great, yep, okay. I had a question on the Minnesota Municipal Utilities.
Mhm.
It's, you know, a lot of those other cities have electrical
Mhm.
generation.
Yep.
It looks like they don't pay any more than we do.
They do actually. There's a different, that JTS charge.
I'm getting all blanks now. So I saw like EOTA's more population, but
But see at the bottom, their annual JTS charge.
tell me which page it's on.
It would be on page 33 of the new one. It's $600 per lineman extra for them.
Yeah, because I know Lanesboro has a generation.
Yep, so the annual charge up there is what everyone pays, and then if they have electrical people, they pay the extra on the bottom too.
Oh, down, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's
So that gets added on.
that gets added onto it. Yep.
And my only other question would be, why EOTA with twice the population pays less than us?
It's about coverage and the amount of time they spend with employees.
Okay. Oh, you should talk to,
They do quarterly, we do monthly.
okay.
As you can see next to it shows number of days too. So
Yeah, it shows one for us and one for them.
but I do know the League of Minnesota City likes seeing us belong to this group. It helps with
Mhm.
with the insurance claims and everything.
Well, but why don't you talk to EOTA and see how come they're getting it that cheap? See if we can
We
get ours.
talked about this at the meeting, and there was no issues at the meeting. I can't remember the exact thing because that meeting was back in June.
Okay,
When we talked about this.
well, I mean, for next time,
Okay.
it'd be interesting to know. All right, anybody have anything else for the consent agenda? Assuming you have no questions, Tony?
No, I don't, well, thank you.
Okay. Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now I think we can just jump right into the Smith
Yep.
membership.
Go for it.
Anybody want to make a motion there?
Do we know what we've paid in the past to them generally?
I know we did at least 1 year at 1,000. We might have done it 2 years in a row, but then we just kind of forgot about it. So it's been several years.
Since we've made a donation?
Yep.
I'm fine with 1,000 if that's what you want to do too.
I'll make a motion that we send them $1,000 per year
For the next two.
For the next two. So we can send them one check
For 2021 and 2022.
Whenever they're due. I don't know how you.
for 2,000.
They'll do
Well,
it, yeah, another drive in November, December, but why, I didn't want to put that in the agenda again in a few months.
Yeah, so $2,000 check.
Okay, but yeah, let them know it's for 2 years.
Yeah.
Did you second?
Second.
And we got a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Budget.
Yeah, in front of you is the levy proposed for 2022. Right now, it sits at a 3.7% increase. That's a little more than I told you last week because I finally got the insurance numbers in on Monday, and the insurance premiums go up every year. So I added another 5% to this year's to next year, so we're covered a little better on that front. So we're looking at a 3.7% levy increase, which with new building and new improvements to homes, it should be a very minimal, if at all, impact to the taxpayers. We'll have more information on that though come November of what the true impact's going to be.
And that's budgeting a little more for the new shelter possibly. And
Yep.
Splash pad water.
Yep.
Consumption.
Yep.
Is that within the parks fund?
That's why the park fund has been increased. Remember, we're setting the preliminary amount. We can go lower, but we can't go higher.
I like it. I'd make a motion to adopt the proposed tax levy.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The Dairyland financing. Hey,
Like I should be able to post your stuff here shortly.
Is it best for me to sit here or should I move
Yeah.
up so Tony can hear me?
I think he'll be able to hear you. Tony, can you hear
Yes, I
Mike?
can.
Or
Okay.
I could move the phone over here on a temporary basis. However,
It's fine.
I think he can hear you. I got the speaker pointed that way.
all right, I'll try and
The mic-
speak up as well. So I know you don't have it up on top there, but does everyone have access to the spreadsheets and so forth? Right. And we're talking about the Dairyland Power Project first and
Chris will handle
the
the,
Twin City Trimmers as it's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to remind the council, probably don't need to, but basically with the Dairyland Power Project, we established a TIF district there because they were asking for certain costs to be covered. And it was centered around the fact that there were some infrastructure costs required to extend to the site. But unfortunately, tax increment law requires that tax increment or the new property taxes, for easier definition, need to be spent within the geographic area of the project. And the infrastructure was going to the site, not within the site. So we came up with a cost swap. Basically said, at a certain point in time, you cut us a check for the numbers $315,000 to pay for the public infrastructure, which you are kind of financing right now as we speak. And then at that same day, you hand them a check for $315,000 to reimburse them for costs that they spent within their area. You would come up with that $315,000 through financing. And then when their property hits the tax rolls and generates those tax increments, you use those tax increments from that property to pay the payments on the debt. So it should all, for the most part, fund itself. The project, if anyone's wondering, $315,000, that seems light. It is light, but that's because the city also received a $200-something thousand grant from the state of Minnesota to pay for sort of the balance of it. So, okay, so we need to find a way to come up with this $315,000. Chris Geeson did a nice job for you in finding a 0% bond issue. I'm sure they're calling it some kind of a loan, but it's a bond issue. 0% interest through My Energy. It's a program I've seen used in a variety of communities. And we looked at it saying, do we do better? Because there's going to be some attorney costs in that process. And we thought, would we do better to just do one financing with an interest rate versus having two separate finance? It's getting complex. In other words, and we looked at it, and you do better to have the 0% loan despite the added complexity and the attorney's fees. So that's why if you read through my letter, I'd be surprised if you did, but if you did, I'm suggesting two financing. One is through My Energy for roughly $84,000. And then the secondary one would be bank placement right here with your local bank. They've already indicated that they'll do the deal. We haven't finalized anything, but in terms of sizing, so we need the $315,000 for that check swap. The attorneys told me they need $4,000 on the My Energy deal. The $500 modification to the TIF plan, that's already been spent. Your TIF fund already is $500 in the hole, so we thought we'd just reimburse that through this process. The $5,050 is the total fees associated with the bank placement with the local bank. Capitalized interest, all that is some additional borrowing, because recognize we got to make payments, on our debt in soon order, and your tax increments don't necessarily get generated. So we don't anticipate tax increments to be coming in until not next year, but the year after. And so we've got to make some payments on the debt before that. So capitalized interest helps cover that payment. So you'll see that $5,866 plus the excess rounding dollars. If you add those two together and go straight over to the far right on that screen there, can't quite see it, but if you were to shift all the way over, thank you. It says TIF fund in the right-hand side. So the fund would start with that money, and it helps kind of cover the first payment, and then the tax increment revenues come in. Even the TV's bored with me. So
Going to sleep?
Yeah. The only thing I'd mention in that worksheet is that we can't capitalize interest for the My Energy note. There is no interest in the My Energy note. It's all principal. So the TIF fund will have to carry that first My Energy payment. And that's why you'll see this interfund loan column with a temporary negative balance there of about $7,000. But then as soon as the tax increments start kicking in, we recover that and then some. In fact, I had mentioned to Chris Geeson that if there's some administrative costs from the EDA that need to be reimbursed, there's potentially the ability to take some of those surplus funds and shift it over. The note, both notes, the My Energy note and the note with the local bank, will be taxable. That's the one downside to us doing a cost swap, because if we were financing the public infrastructure, we could do tax exempt rates versus taxable rates. But the good news is because we're using My Energy at 0%, they don't care if it's taxable or tax exempt. So really the only impact is going to be on the part that we place with the local bank. So that $247,000 placement would be with the taxable note, or would be the only one with an impact on that. Now, what's important to point out is, we had projected all along for 2023 to be the first year of increment. That means construction pretty much had to be this year, right? And we're not going to have much done, right?
They're working on it.
They're working on it. But according to your minimum market value assessment agreement, it said 2000 for taxes payable 23, the minimum value was $2 million. So I want to make sure you all stay on top of that, because if we don't, we could miss a year, and then all that. We'd probably be okay because of the surpluses projected in the long term, but it would make this cash flow look a little more twitchy in the early
So you're saying
years.
they have to have 2 million of improvements on there before the end of this year?
They've agreed that the county assessor can slap $2 million of value on that for taxes payable 23, which would be typically would be a function of how much is built by the end of this year, right? And we don't know if they're going to be 50% done, 75% done, right? So that's just the important caveat to remember. All right, so you don't have to make any decisions on this tonight, other than if you feel sort of agree with the structure and the strategy, just authorize Devin to submit the rural water application. The reason I brought Minnesota Rural Water in, you've used them now a couple of different times. They just have better fees. Everyone takes less. So, and it allows us to work with staff to deal with banks without a broker as well. So it saves money in a couple of different ways. So if you just authorize Devin to submit that application, I think I filled most of it out
Yeah,
already.
it's almost all done.
Yeah. Then I would plan on coming to your October, is it 12th?
Second
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yes.
October 12th meeting with the actual formal, not that, Chris is handling the My Energy note, but I would come with the actual local bank with Chris Gollin, proposal put together for, final approval. So you're not, if you authorize this application, you haven't committed to anything yet. You wouldn't make your final commitment until October 12th. And one last point, and I'm kind of jumping all around here. I've got 3 bookings on the 12th. So I've got Rushford, Hinckley, and Harmony. And you all, I
See you
think,
make that work.
I think Hinckley starts at 5 or 5:30.
I don't think you're getting
In
to
the
make it
morning?
here.
Hold on. Rushford starts at 6:30 and you start at 7. So my thought was, because you guys have suffered having me through the phone system, right? So now it's Hinckley's turn. If Hinckley will let me do it via phone or Zoom, I can do that out in the parking lot of Rushford. When I'm done going to Rushford, handle them 6:30, have them put me towards the front. And then just as quick as I can drive down here. So I may not be here like right at 7, but if you had some other business.
Yeah, they'll be presenting, David Drown, the other side would be presenting something too, so we can push you after that.
Human resources?
Yep.
Oh, sure, yep. Same name, same owner, different company. So, and any excuse I can get to take that road from Rushford to Mabel at high speeds, I'm all for it. 'Cause
Yeah.
Talk to him, Paul.
so,
Yeah,
except for
I can
Jesse doesn't
find
need to know
somebody
about that.
To catch you out there.
Any other
Okay, no, I
questions or thoughts on
think that
that?
was good.
I'll make a motion to approve the application to rural water and for Devin to work with them going
Submit the
forward.
application. Yep.
To submit.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to authorize city staff to submit the application and motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, since we're on this topic anyways, I'd like to continue with having, Jay Jeremiah from Minowal come up and have a proposal for the city. Jay, I'm gonna throw up your, location on the TV too, so you can walk through it.
Is there any way I can go up there and point
Yeah,
that
no,
out?
you-
It
yep,
really make it so much
Yep.
easier. You
Yep,
just kind of
absolutely.
understood. Because I don't think that some people.
What page is that
understand.
on our packet, do you know?
It didn't make it in the packet.
It's not
It's
in
not in there.
What
I
we
got
have, gentlemen, right now is the sewer comes down and around Unwicked. And from this wood shop right here, we have a sewer service that comes out and hooks into a manhole right here. And then from this shop, we have the sewer comes out here and it comes out and it wires into the sewer main out here. So to put a grinder pump in, that's what we're gonna have to do because we can't get enough depth, as they talked about here. So to put a grinder pump in here and put a force main to come all the way back up here, of course, we don't want to put 2 grinder pumps in with the cost of them, so we'd like to make one work. So, and you can't turn sewer without a manhole, without a structure. So if this sewer comes out here, I'm gonna have to jackhammer my whole floor up in my shop to come out here, and then come to here, and that's not gonna happen. That's huge, huge cost. So what I could do is come out here and put the structure right here, and then bring this sewer 165 feet to here. But if by doing that, I have to take out 30 by 30, 1 foot thick, double reinforced concrete right here. So I'm not trying to be a whiner, but it's just a huge cost that is costing us because My Energy's building a new facility. I mean, otherwise this wouldn't be happening.
But you've had sewer problems before.
You have sewer problems.
Yeah.
Correct. The city does.
Freezing.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes. I mean, I'm just saying that, so
Would it be better, can you get them both to come to this point here in the road?
well, we're not coming into the road. They want, because now we're not hooking back into the sewer now. They want to they're gonna put a manhole in with a pump in it, and they're gonna have an 1.25 inch force main, pump it all the way up to here, and then it'll gravity feed down the new sewer, because they're gonna discontinue the sewer from here all the way down. That's the plan.
That's, the other one's coming in off of.
Coming in behind, it kind
North
of
side of
through
Johann.
this easement,
Yep.
right through here. And I know that, they talked about, these lift pumps, these grinder pumps, they come in a HDPE manhole. And the reason I want to use a concrete manhole is the HDPE is like black plastic driveway pipe. And I did, explain it when we met that I need a concrete structure in there, and I'm gonna have to pour a concrete pad, double mat steel over top of it because of the size of equipment that I have there.
That might be going over it.
And the engineer said, well, that's not their problem that we have this big equipment there. This big equipment's been there for 35 years, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's what we do. So I could put that structure right in here where I'm probably not gonna get on top of it, but I'm still not gonna put ADS pipe in there, which is, there's nothing to them, you guys. I mean, it's just in. So there's a lot of costs there. There's a lot of costs that, for me to put all new sewer to here, all new sewer to here, because this isn't working, because these people built a new facility up there. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure that they're not gonna spend the money to do this for 1, 2, 3, 4 sewer services.
Well, I don't know if we have to do it for the sewer service up here. It's pretty much just these two.
Well, you don't now, no, because these 2 sewer services are gonna hook into this new sewer line that's gonna go this way. This new manhole is gonna sit right here. The new sewer is gonna come from My Energy through here. Our office is gonna hook into it, the vet line's gonna hook into it, and it's gonna terminate there, coming south, and it's gonna go straight east all the way over to the main here. So this will be discontinued.
Right.
In a perfect world, if everybody had a lot of money, we'd put a new lift station in down there. But that'd be,
The problem was in the first place, when this was done, they put this sewer in here and it's not deep enough to not freeze.
absolutely,
That's been a problem forever
yeah.
that
And
we've been talking about doing something about for years and years.
the sewer main is really, really tough because there's a lot of infiltration and stuff. And that's why this main is freezing, not from the sewers, it's coming from the vet clinic and this office, but pretty much, I think, infiltration from groundwater and everything else is freezing it. So what happens is this will freeze, and then it freezes us, so we can't get out. But, so if I were to do this, like we talked about, I'd have to come out of here with 75 feet of sewer, come here with 165 feet of sewer. I'm gonna have to jackhammer 30 by 30 concrete out. I gotta put new structure in here. I gotta pour all that concrete back with a double mat, because like our cranes weigh 180 to 200,000. And I know that Brett said that's not the city's problem. That's what's there, guys. I mean, I'm just saying that's what's there. And we've met here, Keith Bruning, the owner, and Devin and Brett, and we talked about, we would pay up to $25,000. We pay half of whatever it costs to do this. Well, right now, with the cost that I was showing on the paper for the grinder pump was
Where is it?
in that email was $12,000 plus.
Well, it's in
Your email attachment.
the one you sent today.
And plus what I sent you, I think, what was I at 30?
32, is it 32?
32 or 34. I mean, that puts us at $45,000. We'll pay for half. We'll pay up to 25 or 50% of that. We'll lay the sewer.
So you'd pay up to the 22,000 then? Is that what we got?
If we'll pay for half of whatever
Okay.
it is. Isn't that what we kind of agreed on and Keith Rooney?
Yeah,
and
that was
Bernie
the-
day?
uh, That was more or less what was said, yeah.
I mean, we gotta work together here, but at the same time, I can't put excuse my language, a half-ass system in here and, walk across there with 11,000 man water. And that's what they've been doing there for 30, 35 years. And the equipment that comes in and out of that shop, that's what that shop is for, to take that heavy iron to work on it, you know.
I guess my only question is with that proposal of $32,000, is that what you would charge if I was a private individual in Minoa would come and do that kind of work for me? Is that, I mean, I
That's
don't,
about an average sewer price, laying sewer and water, yeah.
okay. So you're gonna charge, you're doing some of the work is benefiting you and us both, correct?
Well, not really, because we put new sewer in out to here. That's new. But, and there's new sewer comes to here. So
Well, it's
not a benefit to us. This is actually kind of a nuisance to us because the grinder pump doesn't have a very good track record for that. That pump's probably gonna last 4 or 5 years and we'll replace it again. Especially with the kind of stuff that probably is gonna come through it from a shop, you know?
okay. But it is benefiting both of us because it's fixing that sewer problem, that sewer issue of you guys freezing up in the winter, us having to fix it. You know what I mean? So it is a benefit to both of us to fix this.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying, but you guys are doing the work and cost sharing. I think you guys, I'm not saying we won't split the cost or anything like that. I think that's something that we need to visit, we need to talk about. But is that a realistic price tag with you guys doing some of your own work on your own property? You know what I mean?
And actually, it really is because honestly, and I'm not,
I don't know.
none of my employees are in here, but it costs me $82 an hour to have these union people.
Okay.
I'm serious, you guys, it's flipping
No, I
ridiculous.
know.
Yeah.
So if I get these guys in there and I got a hoe operator, I got a ditch man, I got a top man, this is what it's cost me to put it in. I mean, you know, maybe I can give you a little bit of a break because I have some bunch of Schedule 40 left over that I could use that I don't have certs on, that I can't use on a DOT project or something, you know, but it is, my cost is,
I got you.
you know, and I mean, we want to work with you. It's just that it's, and the biggest thing is like we said, it's not as easy as it, you know, if the bathrooms were here and the bathrooms were here or the water and sewer came in and you could go like that and make it a whole lot easier. But now we got to come here and we got to jackhammer all this concrete out and we got to put that concrete back. And then I'm going to take some concrete out here, which I didn't figure that because I mean, I got to eat some of it, I guess, you know, but
Is there any point to a directional bore under the concrete or?
I don't know if you
I don't know anything about it. I just wonder.
well, I just,
When you don't want to disturb the top.
you're gonna have to dig quite a pit right here,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna have to get your grade exactly right. Make sure your grade can hit that sewer manhole over here. I mean, yeah, 6 of one, half done the other, you know, I mean, it's possible, but. And then if you're gonna get a boring guy in here, a directional bore that. But I mean, at least if it's kind of explained
Yep,
what we have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I invited Jed and I to explain their proposal to council. There doesn't have to be action tonight. You can give me direction, working with the utility committee to reach an agreement to beyond this meeting.
And one thing that I'm kind of, you know, you guys are getting a $200,000 grant. You're getting $2 million taxable once this thing's done. I mean, the city's.
Once again, I gotta tell you this, the city does not profit on this. The city, what's gonna happen is, once the TIF district's over, everyone's taxes, including Minoa, will lower because of this project.
Okay.
It serves the whole
10
community.
years down the road.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can kind of see my point though, that this probably wouldn't be happening. And I'm glad that my energy's coming up. That's awesome.
At some point, I just got to correct you a little bit, because at some point, you're going to have to do something with this, even if Darylin never happened.
Yep,
And when we would have done that,
then we would have
your
been
properties
assessed.
would have been assessed, and you would have been assessed on this road line here, which is an awful lot of
Yep,
frontage. And so there was a big bill coming somewhere. And the fact that we're doing Darylin, I think someone's thinking that because we got a grant to help defray some of our costs, that that's free money. But
but there's a new asphalt mat on there not just too many years ago. Am I correct? When did they asphalt Wicket?
I can't remember how long ago that was.
Because it's pretty darn good shape.
Was it
So I
like
mean,
a mill and overlay or?
Right, but I mean, if we were gonna do the sewer, we might not have assessed for the road, but we probably definitely would have.
wouldn't have milled and overlaid it either.
Right.
I mean, I've been doing this for 35 years. Joe.
Yeah, you wouldn't fix it up.
Probably wouldn't have
dig it
done
up.
what we done if we were gonna put new sewer main in.
I can tell you that we've been working with the city staff and myself, we've been working on a solution for that sewer for the last 5 to 6 years. The solution has always been a little.
Great. Well, I like the idea of sending it back to the utility committee and city staff.
I thought that was a good opportunity to get council involved, to show them what's going on and to introduce Jay. to
And if
everyone.
anybody ever wants to come out there, give me a day's notice or something. I'm gone a lot, but we got jobs in Iowa and way up north, but give me a call. I'll meet somebody out there and I can explain it. It's more, I kind of have been talking with
Yep.
Devin a little bit. It's so much easier to come out right now in the field and say, here's what I got to try to do and I got to get by
Mhm.
this. And you're going to look at it and
He
say,
he did spray paint where he wants the lines and the sewer to go to.
Did you see that? That's kind of the
Brian and Brett saw that out there. So.
Okay.
I did see it. One thing that I would bring up is Ellenson is on site now. They're gonna be drilling this main in. With the projected costs that Jay put together and the rationale for them, it would likely be cheaper to drill 2 lines than have 2 grinders.
I don't want 2 grinders. Then I got maintenance on 2 grinders.
Jay, are you wanting to do this? I guess my question is yourself? This
Well,
equipment's quote?
Anything on our property we'll do ourselves.
You're gonna do yourselves?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got sewer guys that
No,
can do the work.
And you're saying to do this, it's gonna cost the 32,007.
For us to remove that concrete, put the concrete back, to put the 4-inch sewer services in. And then there's another thing that I haven't shown in there. If I'm going 165 feet, I'm gonna need a clean out at about 100. And I'm gonna have to put something concrete around that, some type of pad, or it's gonna be gone when you're plowing those parking lots with dozers and loaders, you know.
Okay,
So I'm thinking, when are you gonna be, I'm on the maintenance committee. Tony's the other one.
Okay, yeah.
Tony, when are you gonna be around?
Next week for a couple days.
When are they starting direction drilling, Brett?
Probably the end of the week. They're gonna start on the Trunk Highway 52 crossing. But it'll be the beginning of the week, and if they brought in a small drill to drill their initial pilot hole under 52 and pre-ream, and then they're bringing their larger drill to pull the actual carrier pipe and the casing pipe under 52. That smaller drill they're using first is the drill that will come down and do this.
And we can drill that line though without finalizing the deals, as long as we know where the grinder pump's gonna go, right?
As long as we're not gonna change course and put in 2 grinders, yeah.
Okay.
If we're gonna put in 2 grinders, then we need to make sure that inch and a quarter is still adequate, which I believe it is, but. You know, the reason I brought up the 2 grinders is, so if a sanitary sewer structure material cost, so precast structure material cost is right around $1,500 to $1,600.
You buy one of them today for that area. Call for Terry and Hancock, see if you can get one. County can't get her either. You're not gonna get that material for that kind of money. It's double, everything's double.
The reason I'm saying that is because we had a contractor yesterday ask them. Let's say it costs $2,000 to put it in, right? So now you're in $3,500 for a structure. So now you're at $7,000 for the 2 structures. If we're not going with the HDPE manholes, which Minowa does not want, then we buy the standalone pumps that's set in there. They're somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 per pump. And literally we can set those, those structures could be set 5 feet outside of the outside wall of each of the buildings, right in line with the existing sewer. And then they're wired independently and they pump in the same portion.
Why don't you want that, Jay?
Because then I'm gonna have two pumps that are very high maintenance. So, and I'm gonna have to live with them the rest of my life. And the problem too is I can get you, I could pull up DOT sewer manholes, probably 7 foot of 48-inch diameter manhole right now. And they're gonna cost you $5,700 to $6,500 to put in. So take that times 2, put your grinder pumps in there, you're still 2 different grinder pumps. I don't know who you're gonna get to put a manhole in for $3,500.
Just for conversation purposes, because I realize we've made a decision, this is gonna go to utility,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Jay, I'm not trying to cause an argument here. Jay just said, find someone to put in. Right now, the city's being asked to pay for 50% of costs without having an option to go get their own contractor, correct? And so it's hard to look at costs and say, and just blatantly agree with them and pay for 50% of it when we can't get those costs from a contractor. We can't solicit quotes from multiple contractors. We can't whatever.
You know how you do that on a DOT project? You take my prices and you look and see what the average price for Minnesota DOT or the Iowa DOT is. And if I'm in that ballpark, which I am, I'm right in the middle. That's how they do it with the DOT. So, and my prices are all right in the average price. So. Matter of fact, I'm checking.
Okay. Well, I think we made our decision that we'll have the utility committee meet and look over the options. And
If you need anything, Devin, get ahold of me, okay?
Yep, I'll be in contact with you.
Probably
thank you.
first part of next week.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
I'll get-
Give me a day's notice.
Yeah, I'll give you, by the end of the week, by probably Wednesday or Thursday, I'll have a time for you.
Super. And Will, like I said, I can work with you on some
Yep.
of that sewer pipe cost if I don't need certs on it because it's not I can use stuff that doesn't have to. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right. Do we want to go over building and maintenance quickly?
Yeah, I'm looking for a motion to buy $5,000 worth of Christmas lights, up to $5,000. I'll be looking for help from the chamber and some other organizations to help buy Christmas lights for the new street poles that are on Main Street. That way, we're worried about putting metal garland on those new poles for scratching. And this way, we'd provide a little, holiday lights on Main Avenue.
Are these reusable or do you throw them away?
Nope, they're reusable.
Is that $5,000? Is that
I would say up to 5,000.
correct?
The pieces
guess-
I'm looking at are between $250 and $350 a piece.
Okay,
100.
so are you looking, is your total cost going to be 5,000, up to 5,000? Because you said you're going to solicit from other
If
areas.
right now we're looking at getting 12 for half the poles.
Okay.
And if we get more, we'd be looking to add to the other poles too. Or potential banners, whatever we deem.
I think his question is the city doing 5,000 on top of what we're getting from others, or 5,000 is the total cost?
I can leave that up to you guys. What do you feel is the best way to go about that?
Well, how many poles does that do?
At what, 250 a piece times by 12.
But I mean, from where to where are we going from?
It would be every other, basically from kind of the main. I'd say from like Mindy to about the bank, not the first 4 down there at the turn.
Okay.
Yeah, once you get up towards the Stells and.
Yep.
The sales all the way up to the bank.
Yeah, to the bank.
And that's what we've done in the past.
Yeah. So
Same area.
I said 5,000 because, you know, once you get 250 to 350, that'll put us right in that zone for 12.
Okay.
And then we'd go with non-denomination holiday lights, whether it be stars or snowflakes. No, you know, just one holiday over the other.
Do we need hangers for that?
Most of them actually come with hangers. With
That'll
kits.
fit our poles.
Well, they come with their own mounting kits. Yeah. And these would be reusable, unlike the current garland lights too. So I guess I would say 5,000, and then try to solicit to get the 12 lights. So whatever I get on top of the 12 lights to fill the rest.
Okay. Sounds good to me. I don't think we need a motion with that unless somebody doesn't like the idea.
Sounds fine.
Okay.
Okay.
And then what's the second thing I had on there?
Is that
Selling.
for all the vehicles?
Oh, yep. We're looking to sell leftover vehicles. I'm looking for directions on how to sell these vehicles.
Yeah. No.
We have an old fire truck. We have the old squad car. We have the tan van. And then we will eventually have Corey's truck. The new Dodge that Corey got. So his was it
Ford.
450?
Yep.
Ford 450.
450.
That will be out of service. So I'm looking direction of how we want to go about selling these vehicles.
I know there is a municipal kind of auction site.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever looked at that, but I'm okay with just soliciting bids and possibly letting the top 3 on each one
Rebid.
submit a rebid.
Okay. Was there?
Go ahead, Tony.
Really good luck with sewing. I think our squads, whatever, with a company out of Wisconsin. I think the city's used that before.
We have, Tony, so I don't know if you saw the enterprise stuff. The county would be willing to, we would title the car, the squad car specifically, I guess, in the county's name, and then enterprise would sell it. They thought they would get, so they hand sell, and they would get 10 or 12 to 13,000 for it. And the only cost that would come out of that is $350 for them to basically de-stripe it.
Yep.
They
don't get a commission.
They don't get a commission. That's a flat fee, $350. That's the only difference than with the auction would be, you take what you get from the auction, and then it's, I don't know what the commission is anymore, if it's 10% or if it's based.
Used to be 7%.
Yeah. So
I think we'd be better off going with enterprise for the squad car.
I think so too.
We'd get more money for it.
Yep.
Pull the squad out of there and then do the bids on the other 3.
Do the other sealed.
That's what I would recommend.
Yep.
Sounds like a good idea.
I'll make a motion to sell the squad car through enterprise, through the county sheriff's office, and then the other remaining vehicles to do sealed bids.
I second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
Did we have any other things to sell?
I think everything else is.
We got rid of it.
Most has been sold.
Okay. All right. Just checking it.
And then, and that was okay with the fire truck that way too then? Okay.
All right. Hearing no further discussion, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And then there's one more thing on the maintenance thing that kind of came to our attention, earlier this week?
Yeah.
Our SCADA system that we put in last year, they don't have the proper, was it radios?
Yeah, we prepaid on getting lift stations hooked into the SCADA system. So we ordered radios that have been on back order for like 8 months. And he still can't get a date, so now he wants to order different radios, but then we have to update the other 4 radios that we currently have. And then we'll trade those in. So we'll get to update the water ones, and then the sewer ones will have the newer version that's better than the ones we actually ordered. But
And this kind of needs to be done because they're having issues with the
I
telephone
don't know,
system.
do you remember what the number was?
It was about 80, was it 84 or 64?
It's 84.
So 84 then, if you're calling that.
So that's to do,
8,400.
Yeah, it's to finish the SCADA system. We can take it both from water and sewer, so it'd be a split share cost.
The COVID money for the
right.
Yeah.
They-
the ball
they-
rolling.
They giving us half our money back on the first 4?
So the 4 that we didn't get, we haven't paid for it, is what I'm.
There's 3 that we didn't get, we haven't paid for, but this is just to upgrade those 3 and then upgrade the 4 that we already have. Switch them out
Gotcha.
so that they're compatible.
Right.
The ones we have now aren't compatible, unless he wants better ones.
What's the useful life of these new ones? Because if the 4 we got are already not useful anymore.
No, they're useful, it is, we just can't get radios that are compatible.
Right.
Does he have any idea on the new radios what the time frame of?
He said a week. Those ones are in stock, that's why he wants to go this route.
Okay.
He wants
Okay.
this stuff,
All right.
before winter,
Which makes sense.
backup season.
Right.
That was a good question, though. Do they have them?
Well, right.
They got
These are on back order, we can't get them, so we're gonna order new ones that are on back order, and we can't get those.
Readily available, remember that.
And this would be a great improvement to the current system. That way they get all the updates that they need.
Yeah, right now, we don't have alarm systems that are working on the lift stations, so if something does back up.
Because isn't that the issue we had?
Basement flooded before we probably realized.
Didn't we have some issues with that recently?
So the sooner the better.
I'll say, I don't know if we need a motion, do we?
Yeah, I would say so.
You just
Yeah,
get the motion
yeah.
and then just direct it from the water fund.
Okay, make a motion, we get the upgraded radios or whatever, the 7.
7, right, Brian? 8,
Yeah.
7.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and second to get new radios for this SCADA system.
8750 is the number.
Okay.
Anybody have any more comment? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Is that it for building and maintenance?
Yep.
Okay. We'll go on to the TIF agreement. We'll open a public hearing for the TIF.
Good to see everybody tonight. I'll try to
Chris.
speak up so Tony can hear me.
Are you a new guy?
I'm the new guy. No, good to see everybody. The EDA has been working with Jeff O'Connor the last few months to make a new corporate headquarters for his construction business and a new business that he's starting. As a part of that, he's been looking at purchasing a lot in the industrial park. And so the EDA has gone through the process of holding its own public hearing to sell that property, sell a lot in the industrial park, which would be just the lot north of where he currently owns a building already. They're just a couple spaces north of the municipal well there. But the EDA has recently reassessed all the pricing in the industrial park, and everything's been accommodated there from his perspective and our perspective. And so the EDA has gone through all of its processes and is recommending to sell this lot to Mr. O'Connor. As a part of that, we've had a history in Harmony of using tax increment financing, or TIF, to offset the cost of the lot as much as we can. In the past, with the lots costing as little as they used to, they would essentially get the land for free. So that last one we did that way was Oak Meadow Meats. So that's been almost 12, 15 years now. The Antique Mall was the one before that. My time here doesn't go beyond that one, but it's a very well-established process that we've had. But with costs increasing and the cost of improvements in the industrial park, the cost of infrastructure that we have outstanding there, we had to reassess all the pricing. And so the particular lot that Mr. O'Connor's looking at is $65,000 versus the $32,000 it used to be. But because of the building that he's proposing to build, which is up on the screen there and in your packets, the county assessor feels that that's going to create enough tax increments that we would be able to collect about $46,000 over the course of 10 years, offsetting that $65,000. So the deal that the EDA has struck with Mr. O'Connor is to sell this lot, which is about an acre and a third, full city services, all that, for a sale price of $65,000 less the TIF of $46,000 that's going to be collected. Per our past practices, and there'll be a net $19,000 that he will pay at closing in cash. And so we'll collect that $19,000 at closing. We'll collect the rest of it over about 10 years from not only the new city taxes, but the new county taxes and the new school district taxes. And so we've gone through our process at EDA to get to this point. What we need to look at tonight is establishing a new TIF district. Similar to what we did for Dairyland earlier this year, but it's a different type of project and a different type of setting, a different type of need. So we need to go through the process again. So Mike Bubani is here, and he can answer any questions on the specifics of the new TIF plan. But it's the same process that we've looked at in the past, just moving forward to help sell this property and for the benefit of attracting this building. So what the EDA has recommended is to ratify the sale of this property, establish the TIF district, and enter into this development agreement that's in your packet. And the development agreement just codifies the terms of the sale, terms of the TIF district, and basically what happens if things don't work out the way that they were agreed upon. So with that, I guess, not sure if Mike, you want to talk about the things you need to talk about, or if there's anything I missed, or if there's questions from the council, I'd be happy to answer them now too.
I think to help explain, this was in TIF and that TIF ran out, and we're just reinstating that same TIF back so he can start building.
Yeah, so we've had a history
to explain that to him.
Yeah, so we've had a history of establishing a TIF district and keeping an open TIF district in the industrial park over the years. There's a very high cost of setting one of these up, so we try to maximize that as best we can. But there is a time limit to how long we can actually start a project in one of these TIF districts. We have a 5-year period in which either something goes forward or we can't use that existing TIF district. There's also some other rules with whether it's manufacturing or whether it's commercial, and depending on that issue, we can either use the TIF district or we can't. Or from a more practical matter, the TIF district might have started too long ago, but it still doesn't hit that 5-year mark where we can't do anything. But the amount of dollars that we're actually going to collect over that 10-year period, the remaining 10-year period, it's not as useful. So it's better, more cost effective to restart the district. But what we'll be able to do then is, in the same idea, is that we are including all of the TIF or all of the parcels in the industrial park, including the one we just purchased 2 years ago now, I suppose. In case we have another developer come forward, we don't have to go through this process again. The EDA and council would just be able to enter into another agreement with, let's say you decided to buy a lot tomorrow, we would just go through this process again, and you guys would decide whether or not that was a good deal. But we wouldn't have to have Mike come to this meeting again and go through the process. The administration of it is good for a few years now, assuming everything is kind of normal. If we had a really big project, a really unique project, it might warrant doing this again, but we try to minimize this process as best we can, so.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's actually, on that note, there's really no cost or any extra expense or hurdles to just start over, if other than the cost of setting it up, if we warranted that to be a good deal. The fact that we already had one there and we have to turn that existing TIF district off, it's not a big deal to do that if we had to.
It's like what, $7,000 setup, right?
For the setup, yep. So we want to make sure that we're making the most out of that. But if we have to restart something somewhere else or kick one parcel out of all of the parcels that we're doing, it's not that big of a deal to do that. So, but we'll be looking at establishing a TIF district for all of the industrial park parcels tonight. Did I get that about right?
Yes. Yep. There's some technical aspects to this. I don't know if you're all grizzled veterans and don't want to hear it, or I'd be more than happy to come up and kind of go over the highlights of this.
No, I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
Little refresher.
Like you earn your money.
I'll let the young guy have the big fancy chair. I'll sit this-
I can move.
No. You're looking a little pecky. Okay, so in your packet is the TIF plan itself. We won't need to go through everything in detail, but just to kind of summarize, all tax increment is, and we probably should have hit on this with the Dairyland discussion earlier, it's just property taxes. That's all we're talking about. We call it tax increment financing. It's just property taxes. We're just repurposing those new property taxes to help the project. And the reason we do that, for folks that would say, well, gosh, those are property taxes that could have been collected to hold my property taxes down. The reason we do this is that if we didn't assist the project wouldn't happen, or it might happen somewhere else. So what we do is on a temporary basis, we redirect these property taxes from their normal uses like snow plowing and police protection. We jam it back into the project so that when it's over, we have a project that wouldn't have been there otherwise. And like you were mentioning, when the Dairyland one goes offline, it helps everybody else. Same thing would be true here. You had mentioned all the new city taxes, all the new county taxes. I should just clarify for anybody that's a big school supporter, we don't collect all of the new school taxes. So the operating referendum money for the school, we don't touch that. So school will benefit day one in that regard. And then they also have what I call their normal taxes, like city and county taxes we don't get to collect 100% of that either. So all you need to know is that the school will benefit to some degree right away from this. There are multiple different types of TIF districts. There's three main kind. There's the housing TIF districts, which are kind of self-explanatory for housing. There's redevelopment TIF districts where we have old substandard buildings that we're tearing down or rehabilitating. Not the case here. And then finally, there's economic development TIF districts, primarily used for industrial and manufacturing uses. Okay, Dairyland qualified under that. And that's also why you were able to get that state grant, because they require that as well. Many cities can't use this economic type of TIF district for Twin City trimmers because it's not manufacturing, it's not industrial. There's a small city exemption that says if you're less than 5,000 population, check. If you're more than 10 miles away from a city of 10,000 population, check. Then you can use this normal manufacturing kind of TIF for commercial, right? The only thing is that the building sizes have to be limited to 15,000 square feet or less. So while Chris mentioned we've got multiple parcels included to try and see if another deal comes forward in the next year or two, I won't have to come back. I'd be happy to, but I don't have to. They'll be limited to that 15,000 square feet as well. And you'll also be limited to, we can't mix and match. So this is a commercial small city exemption economic development TIF where everything's 15,000 square feet or less. If somebody comes in and says, I'm going to build a 100,000 square foot bottling plant, then we have to kick that parcel out and reestablish a new one with the traditional manufacturing. And I know this sounds like a lot of rules, but it's the only reason I have a job. So just.
If it was easy, everyone would.
Yeah, I have to justify my existence. Okay, so in the plan itself, if you, Devin, could you scroll to exhibit 2? Keep going.
Up.
Yep.
Right there.
Okay, so right there are the parcels to be involved, and you are correct that there have been multiple TIF districts in and out on this. I think the first time, we had Antique Mall and some others. And then we had, did Harmony Enterprises potentially was gonna be expanding into that
They're
area?
still in there. Yeah, that was one back and forth.
And then we cleared out the extraneous parcels. And then I think at Dairyland Power at one point was going to do it, and we set it up. Well, I mean, you didn't approve it, but we went through all the work to set it up. And that's why, remember I said you had a $500 hole in your fund? Because you'd already paid to set it up, and then we moved it to a different site. So I just charged $500 just to go through the process. Anyway, so it has had this history of in and out, in and out, in and out. So if any of these parcel numbers or maps look familiar, that's why. So what this exhibit shows is those are the values that the county has on the property as it stands today. They may be, some of these might be tax exempt, or all of them if the EDA owns them. But once they earn private ownership, they become taxable. And any taxes associated with that value will be spread out. So the county and the city actually will get a little miniature amount of tax base day one, and it's from basically the bare ground. We're only talking about, they call it tax increment because we're only going to collect the incremental new value. So exhibit 3, the next one, 3A, and I'll kind of fly through these, Mayor. This is just a projection of what the tax increment revenues would be. And this first one, 3A, is only for the Twin Cities Trimmers project. So I plugged in the value that we got from the county, the tax rates that apply. I did the formulations down below, but the bottom right-hand number is one you want to look at. And it basically says it's 9, Chris always says 10 years. It's 9 collections. You would collect, if this all worked out just absolutely perfectly, it won't. But I mean, assuming it worked out just perfect the way we have it, you'd collect $61,000. And if you were to take 4% interest out of that, then the present value of that is $48,000. And remember, Chris was talking about it, hoping to pay for $46,000. That's kind of how we got to that number. Exhibit 3B. 3B is a highly technical projection that I like to call pulling it out of my ear, because we don't know what's going to go on those other parcels, right? But I have to establish a budget. When I do this TIF plan, we can't just say we're going to spend what we collect. The state says you better have a budget, so we have to base it on something. So I just sort of took an average valuation and extrapolated it across these parcels and assumed they'd kind of build in over time. So using the bottom right-hand number again, if you were to extract 4% interest from all this, ultimately, if everything worked out just the way I have it, you could pay for $297,000 worth of stuff. Do I believe that? No. But I wanted to make sure the budget is big enough so that we don't have to do a modification. And if you do a modification, then you're calling me again, right?
And that's where that would come in handy if we say we had another prospect come in the next spring.
Soon, yeah.
We would have that budget to work with.
Yep. Exhibit 4, we're almost done here. On the far right-hand side, this is another kind of a bogus exhibit. And it basically said if all these parcels, not just Twin City Trimmers, but if all the parcels were built up with all these hypothetical businesses and there was no TIF district and you kept your levy the way it is right now, how much would the tax rate drop? Because you'd have all this new tax base. And basically it would drop 5 points, which is not insignificant. It's not huge. It's not insignificant. And it's also hypothetical because it's based on all of those parcels. But it's a finding we have to make. And then finally, Exhibit 5, law says that we have to make the finding that we're doing better for the use of TIF than, okay, Twin City Trimmers says they need TIF to hold down the price of land. Who's to say something else might not happen that would be even better, right, if you didn't do TIF? And basically what this exhibit is saying is that if we take the increased market value of the site, the entire TIF district, and we subtract out the present value of the tax increment, what do we compare that to what we think we would get if we didn't do it? Well, I think what we get if we don't have a TIF district is bare ground for the next 10 years. So we just added the inflationary cost of land and said, you know what, we think we're gonna do $1.8 million better for using TIF than without. Is that an accurate number? No, it's absolutely pulled out of the air, but I think it's a reasonable finding to say that we're gonna do at least $1 better for the use of TIF because we're gonna get Twin City trimmers, for instance, so. Anyways, in terms of administration, I think the way this should work, and this is more for Sam, who's probably just ecstatic that we're gonna throw more stuff like this. Is she here?
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. I think what you do is you're gonna create a TIF fund for this project, right, in your books. And then when you sell the ground, right, so you're gonna collect your $19,000 cash, that's gonna go right into your EDA fund, because that's gonna pay for cost from the city that were made well before TIF was ever even an issue. But the balance that the company would owe you, the TIF fund would write a transfer or a hypothetical check to the EDA for the difference, so the TIF fund will go negative. Just, and then as increment comes in, so you're gonna see when you get your, I don't know, if you look at the audit or something, you're gonna see this TIF fund is gonna be negative by 40-some thousand bucks. But then each year as we collect the increment, that'll slowly dwindle and go away, if that makes sense. Makes sense? Okay.
Yep.
That's all I-
Good. Well, that's, because I'm confused as all hell. So anyways, I'll leave it there.
That's our normal EDA fund, isn't it? Negative.
Yeah.
Try to keep building it up.
I want to see go all over the place. We gotta keep some activity going.
All right, so we have the public hearing for the TIF going on. Is there any public comment?
The developer did wish to be here tonight, but he had a conflict, so he just wished to pass on that he wished he could have been here tonight. So
Okay.
He didn't have anything to add.
So should I close the public hearing now before we do the motions? Okay. All right, so we will close the public hearing on the TIF. And then we have a TIF agreement resolution, or do we do the sale first?
The sale is actually encompassed in the development agreement.
Yeah,
So
okay. So
I'll
TIF
just follow the
agreement,
agenda.
okay?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 21-17.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for resolution 21-17. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then the development agreement.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the development agreement with Jeff O'Connor. Is that, is there a business name?
Nope, this one's personal. He's buying it
Personal.
personally. Yeah.
Yep. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
Thank you
thanks,
very
Mike.
much.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Mike.
Park Board.
Was there any other EDA business that needed to be
Oh.
discussed?
I don't think we had anything,
No, other than that, the downtown improvement plan apps will be available now to, right, Chris? Businesses for downtown.
Yes, we're distributing those and people are putting ideas together. So we'll spread the word and good things will happen.
oh, I think we'll get enough. We only need one or two.
Yeah. No, I know the person's actively working on it. I've got a couple of meetings with another couple.
Okay.
I've created packets to hand out in person and hope to get to everybody that I can here in the next couple of weeks. So
And I will say, I have talked to a few people in town who are happy that council is willing to look to keep the distinct look of Harmony.
And I can't think of anything else pressing at the EDA we did.
Talked a long time, but it's kind of all over the board.
We talked about just trying to get new businesses or businesses that we didn't have in town anymore, or things that we would maybe like or
Succession
entertain. Yeah.
Small cities block grant surveys, those are coming in and I'm told it's in good order, so we got good response.
Good enough response? Or we-
Not quite at that level yet to determine whether or not, it sounds like the residential side is doing really well, the commercial side is doing really well. We might be a little thin on the pure rental side, but that was something we've run into in the past. I think that's more a function of there's just not that many pure rental
Rentals.
situations like in other places, but it's all percentage based on different qualifications. So we'll see here shortly. I think close out the surveys at least here this week, and then gotta go knock on some doors.
I wonder, on the utility side, do you guys kind of know owners and renters? don't you?
Some of them, there are a few people that have most of the rentals, let's put it that way.
Yeah, if we could get the word to them to try to get their renters to fill that out.
It's not the renters, it's actually the landlords.
Oh, well, they don't want,
If the landlord is opposed to applying, there's nothing we can do. Then we run into a couple of that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
because it's improvement that the landlord has to do to the property.
oh, right, I thought the survey was just you wanted respondents to the survey.
No, and so the respondents, that would be on the commercial side, for the business owners or for homeowners, but on the rental side, it's that. But
No
for people that
owners.
have multiple buildings, fill out multiple surveys, so we've been really trying to hit the ground hard, and so I think we've done a really good job, and I think we've got a good response, but I don't have the exact percentages right off the top of my head.
Okay.
Well, the other is that we increased our population.
Yes.
There we go.
That was the majority of the conversation.
That was the big thing, yeah.
Well, I tell you, all the projections were telling us that we were gonna go lose by 50 or 60.
Yep.
And we gained by almost 3%. We're one of 3 towns in Fillmore County that grew, everyone else went backwards. We're now 1043. And so we're excited about that. And I would challenge the EDA, but I would challenge the council too, to consider what 2030 looks like and what our number should be on the side of 2030 and set that as a goal. For a frame of reference, the national average, I think was like 7% growth or 6%. Minnesota was right around 7%. So we weren't at par with those averages, but moving forward at all in this climate, when so many of our neighbors lost, I'm taking that as a win.
Yeah, there was a good discussion about how we proceed with housing for worker rate housing, for retiree housing, all that kind of what we can do to enhance that in the area. So we're looking at options to improve that in the city.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I was in a meeting yesterday with another county, a very large county, and they're looking at doing the housing incentive that's basically the same as what we've been doing for 7 years. So it's kind of fun to see that, hey, we're leading the way.
Very good. Now we'll go to park board.
All right, we met last night. Just a couple things. The splash pad, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, we're kind of on track with everything to proceed in the spring of next year.
Yeah.
We had some discussion about the cancer park and the trees. Devin and I met with one tree person today, and we're going to talk to some more and figure out the tree issue there. So we're
That's
working on
with the lady that sent us.
Yes.
An
It's in
email.
It's in reference to that email.
Okay.
So you're in touch with the cancer support group?
Yep.
Yep.
And we've been in
Tin
good
and
terms.
Rust,
Yep.
and, yep, we're trying to work that.
As long as
project out.
I keep her updated when anything changes, so we have an open dialogue about everything that's happening.
Okay.
Silvic Park, we made a motion and recommendation to get the power for lighting the trees and stuff board in there and ready for this fall, hopefully, or for lighting the
Whatever
trees.
As long as
hopefully.
more can get us in the schedule.
Right. And then along with that, Jim Bakken came and presented a plan to update the veterans portion of that. Presented a plan to us. We kind of agreed to pay for the concrete. That's gonna be redone there. It's about a $62,000 project currently to upgrade it. They're doing a new monument. They're keeping the old monument. They're doing new flagpoles. They're doing lighting and all that. So that would change that and make that look excellent, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be a black marble monument with black marble
I
benches.
do have, if anybody wants, this is Jim's proposal, rough proposal that we had. You can take a look at that. I guess the only other thing was that we talked about was back here at the playground equipment. The Lions, it's the Lions Club, right? Wants to make that more handicap accessible, handicap, so nobody falls and gets hurt type of thing. So there's some concrete that they want to put in to level that out and make that easier accessible to people. So we approved $1,500 for concrete back there.
Yeah, and that'd be in conjunction with what the Lions plan to do out there too.
That wouldn't be paying for all of it. It would be just paying for a portion.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to say that next year plan with the splash pad, we want to tie in the new picnic shelter too. That way that all of the control room will be in the new shelter. So we can tie this whole thing together and make one project and make everything done at one time instead of piece it together.
Question,
Go ahead.
We were at the park at the, up by the golf club.
Yep.
Is there a way to get power inside that building?
The
I see
north
there's
one,
switches and everything there. We
There
tried to
was
get,
power there.
there's no power in it, but there's a light pole there.
Oh, they must have, there used to be, okay.
Okay, so I
I
can
see there's switches and stuff
I
inside
was
there.
gonna say there used to be power.
I
We
can.
tried plugging things into the outlets.
Oh, the outlets don't work.
Huh?
There's the outlets out there don't work. So I
Couldn't
will.
get any of them.
Okay, thank you for that.
If
We'll,
you
No,
look, I
absolutely,
guess.
yeah,
yeah, we'll,
absolutely.
we'll take a look at that.
There is, and I didn't, there was one big breaker and I didn't know what.
Yeah, North Park. Yeah, so we'll go out there and look to see what's
Yeah,
what's going on there.
we'll take
Yep.
We just check it out for somebody else.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then
It might all work.
Yeah, they did.
one more comment for Park Board. It wasn't talked about last night, but I want to thank community support for coming out for the DNR trail thing that was on 18th. They got a lot of good ideas. And from that, one of them is we're going to be able to put Shareway signs on County Road there in front of the market. So people will know that's a shared road with bikes, and bikes then would know that's the bike trail. So we did get approval from Ron Gregg.
Is that signage this up and down? or
No,
is
it's
it
going to be on the road.
Okay, I just wanted.
Oh, it's going to both?
Also
Oh, okay.
outside.
Both?
I would understand just paint, so.
Okay.
So it was
Mostly
because,
by the intersections, I think, will be the bicycle on the stencil on the road.
On the road.
Yeah, I think it's at the intersection.
and
And we have to maintain that, I think.
yeah, we have to maintain it, but it is nice that bikers can now find where they're going and to follow the road. I do want to thank communities for going out and out of their way to make that available for us and getting their opinion heard.
Good. Library board?
Well, I guess I'll just say that I missed it. It was on the 7th to, I guess, Chris's little thing about bumping up population. We're expecting a baby, so I missed the meeting for that. So there you go. I did call and just check what they, yeah, I'm on the plan. I'm on the plan. But
One per year for 10 years.
there we go.
Long time.
Yeah. But they met on the 7th, and I guess they're just working on the budget
Mhm.
is
Yep.
what mainly I missed, I guess. But
Yeah, she submitted the budget and
perfect. That's all I got.
Okay, arts board?
We did not meet.
they meet next week.
Good. Fire department?
Truck is out there.
saw
new
the
You
truck.
can't see it right now. I should go turn the lights on.
It's got a lot of lights.
The only thing that is left on the two grants to really get, the one piece came today, I noticed. So it's basically the loose equipment grant would be the skid unit for the cannon. And that's been approved. The drawings have been approved and we're moving forward. So hopefully that'll be done.
And the fire department did a great job of getting those grants and really buying down the cost of that new vehicle.
And we took the new rescue vehicle on a car accident where the driver was gone.
Oh.
And we put those lights out and we could light up the area. I mean, it's really
Well,
gonna be a,
Yeah, and we used it in Canton the other night for mutual aid and lit that up too, so.
Yep.
We've had 2 calls with it since it's went into service.
There we go.
So it's good.
Down or something. That was it.
all right. Sheriff's report?
I have not received one for a few months now, so I
Okay.
will reach out to them for one in the future.
Sounds good.
All right. Do we have another mosquito spraying coming or? don't we?
I reached out to them. Usually they spray from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Mhm.
I reached out to them. Haven't heard back yet.
Okay.
So hoping to hear back from them.
I'd like to see one more because I was just getting bit the other night.
last week.
I'm just
It's
worried.
really
Usually
since
it
the
kills.
last storm came through, we must have had a hatch there somewhere.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm not sure what it will do to the live ones. Usually it prevents hatches, so it might, I can see what they
The
can do.
fog kills the live
Okay.
ones. And, yeah.
See what you can do.
Yep, we'll continue to be in contact with them.
Okay. Anybody have anything else for our meeting?
Just, I guess, let people know that the assessor is going around.
Yeah, he stopped my house last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He was
So-
to my house about a month ago or better, probably.
Saw him on the street today and stuff. Said hi and.
So keep your lights low and lock
I got tagged from him. He said, somebody's got any questions, they can.
I had no choice. My house was remodeled. He had to come in.
Yeah, he had to come see.
I will say, it was nice to see a very well honored 9/11 celebration from our local emergency responders on Saturday. So thanks for all of them that came out and did that.
Yeah, that was very nice. Nice video on Facebook.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
YouTube.
Yep.
Yep.
Or YouTube or something, yeah.
Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
It's a YouTube video.
Great.
So.
All right. You got anything else for us, Tony?
Nope, it's all good.
All right.
Perfect.
See you, Tony.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Hang on, Tony.
Hang up. Hang up.
Good thing my phone was charged.
So, on that $80,000 or that memorial thing, they're gonna pay for, or I'm not.
So
the
30
60 something.
62,000.
Thank you.
Yeah, for your own purposes.
Well, I've looked at
Yeah, just anytime she's ready to call. Make her a good time.
Yep.
She's been talking for an hour or so.
Yep.
Through all the details.
Yeah, how do you spell it last name, you know?
Yeah.
Make sure.
Okay. Who else came in with Sandy? I don't know the citizens usually. She's still a fisher on the GIS. On the GIS. So Kelsey asked, yeah, she lives in Nelson. Kelsey asked to be on the agenda. They came in, yes. Yep.
Okay.
Each pole has 2 LEDs.
Adjust.
Adjust so they can light up everything.
Everything's
Ones are donated.
I don't.